So today we want to talk about CT polarity and which way breakers need to be installed. In the bottom of these bushings here and behind those silver covers are CTs. Sometimes there can be one, there could be four, there could be six in there. But each of the CTs is there to measure your current running through the breaker. And it measures it in either direction, from up through the CT that way and then out that CT. They'll also work backwards. They'll show a negative value. It all depends on how you wire them, but CTs are directional. So the power has to be running through them the correct way. Also, there's different kinds of CTs. So how do you know what CTs are in the breakers? Well, sometimes there's nameplates physically on them, and other times they're right here in the cabinet. If you put these breakers in backwards, you might see negative values on both of them instead of positive values on both of them, which is not what you're supposed to see. It's not how the system was designed. So these have to be facing the right direction. If you notice on the top there's a number. It says number 1. On this side here, number 2. Then you've got 3 and 4 on this. You got 5 and 6 on this one. So how do you know which way the breakers are supposed to face? You do not look at your grounding drawings, you do not look at your conduit drawings, do not look at your steel drawings. You have to look at your single line drawings or your 3-line drawings. That is the only thing you have to look at. I'll show you exactly why you don't want to use your conduit drawings to figure out which way the breakers face. So this is why you do not use your conduit drawings to determine which direction your breakers face. If you would have used the conduit drawings, you would have seen the conduit on this side, and you would have seen your conduit opening on the breaker on that side, and you would have installed them. But you would have installed them backwards. What's even worse is that these specific breakers, these EMA breakers, are grounding breakers. So when they're open, that side is grounded. Your field side is grounded, which is what you want. If you installed this backwards, your ground would be on that side. So what would happen if you didn't realize that when you first energize? You energize your transformer, you close your switch. As soon as you close in these light switches, you've just grounded the entire system, and you're going to have a short to ground, phase to ground fault, because you use the conduit drawings to determine which way your breaker went. Obviously, this shows that the engineers don't always know what they're doing. The conduit guys just design the conduit. They don't look at the electrical drawings like they should. And this is what happens. So this is why you don't want to use your conduit drawings or any other drawings to determine which way your breakers are supposed to face. So another thing that we need to pay attention to, other than the direction that the breakers face, is if the CTs are different. We've got 9 breakers here, individual poles, and then another 3 on that side. We have 12 breakers. How do you know what the CTs are underneath these? Are they the same? Are they different? That's what you need to look up before you set your breakers. So from looking at this, there's no way you can tell. It's just underneath silver cladding. You need to go to your nameplate. So let's look at the nameplate on this one, 52T1. You've got 3000 to 5, and you got 300 to 5. So let's see if there's any other breaker that's different. And if it is, make sure that you set it in the right direction. So now we're at the main breaker. And sure as heck they're different. You have a 3000 to 5, but here you have a 600 to 5. That means that the CTs behind these silver plates are different than the other ones. But just by looking at it, they look the same. They look identical, and you would never know just by staring at it. You've got to go to the nameplates. You've got to go to your drawings to make sure that you've got these faced the right direction and installed in the right location. All right, so here's an example. This is a single line. There's single lines, there's 3 lines. What that essentially means is there's one line to dictate what the energized conductors are. This just shows 1 line. There can also be 3, which gives you a lot more information on specific phasing and things like that. But starting on the left, you've got your main voltage coming in from the utility. Then you've got your CCVTs there on the left. And then right here in the middle is your breaker. That's your high voltage breaker. This particular one's called 52L1. Then on the left-hand side of that, you can see numbers. There's a 2, 4, and 6. And on the right side, there's a 1, 3, and 5. That is how you get your direction. That is how you know what direction your breaker is supposed to face. There's physical stickers and physical markings on the breaker that differentiate the 2, 4, 6 and the 1, 3, 5 sides. So that will tell you your breaker polarity. Then in between those 1, 3, 5 and 2, 4, 6 are your CTs. So you can see on this particular breaker, there's 6 sets of CTs. You've got a bunch of 3000 to 5s on the right-hand side, and you've got a 600 to 5 and some 3000 to 5s on the right-hand side. So this needs to face in exactly that direction that it's showing. Then that's for 52L1. That's one of the main breakers. If you go to this other breaker, it's the same exact breaker. You can't tell if it's any different by looking at it from the outside. Again, you can see your 1, 3, 5. You can see your 2, 4, and 6. And you can see your CTs. So again, similar to the other one, there's 3000 to 5 CTs. But look, this one's different. On the opposite side, on the bottom here, you see a 3000 to 5, a 300 to 5, and another 3000. So compare that to the one on this side, and you've got a 600 to 5 and 2 3000 to 5s. So those have physically different CTs inside of them, and so if you get these mixed up or backwards, you would have to physically move them to the direct location. So this is the drawing that you need to go to that will tell you what direction they face, as well as what position they are installed on the physical project.